Hi, Dave Daley here with your successful tip of the day. We're going to talk about your secret weapon. See, your imagination. That's our secret weapon, and we don't even realize it. Most of us aren't even really tapping into it nearly like we should and like we used to when we were younger. You know, when you remember when you were younger, your imagination was so bold and vivid and clear because you didn't care about what other people thought. You were just in the moment, and you just created things in your mind and in your imagination that were just so crystal clear. You were actually making movies in your mind and didn't even realize it. See, we think in pictures. If I ask you to, whatever you do not think of a snowflake. What happens? A snowflake runs across the screen of your mind because we think in pictures. So it's so important to start to learn how to tap into that imagination as we become adults. And the reason that we don't is growing up, as we enter adulthood, we start to hear, stop daydreaming, start thinking about reality. That's not realistic. And what happens is we start to stop using that imagination. It's like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes and the more reliable it becomes. But the less you use it, the weaker it becomes and the less reliable. So let's start to really tap into our imagination again. And there's some things that you can do. Let's just say you have a goal of a dream car, a certain dream car. Go to that dealership, get in that car, really start to own it, and then in your mind just run those pictures, run that movie back into your mind over and over and over. Now if you're not able to do that consistently, that means it's probably not big enough. It doesn't excite you enough. So then you have to find something that does, that gives you that excitement in order to create. I call it the healthy obsession, that it's constantly on your mind so that you can run that through the movie of your mind. So you're becoming the producer and the director of your own movie. That's going to be the key. You need to start to really own it, but without those feelings, it's really not going to happen for you because that's how we're built. Thoughts, feelings to actions, like we talked about with the mind. So your imagination is absolutely your secret weapon when you learn to tap into it again like you used to when you were younger. I remember when I was 11, 12 years old, I can't tell you how many times I won the Super Bowl in the last 30 seconds for my favorite team. My imagination was just so full and bold. And now as an adult, what I've learned a long time ago was I want to tap back into that secret weapon. I want to tap back into that imagination. And when I have that goal that scares and excites me at the same time, now I'm able to own it, live it. And what happens is all of a sudden the people and the circumstances just start to appear in your life to make that happen. Now you have to take the action, but your imagination is the first step. Start to really build that. Now I had a client who's a good friend of mine a few years ago, and he's CEO of two companies at the time, and he wanted to move up another level or two in his house, take his family to a whole nother level, in their main home. So what he started to do was picture in his mind his dream home, and he would picture himself every day, a few times a day. We'd have him do this: is drive up in that driveway, see how that driveway looks, open that front door, then take a look at the entry, the foyer, and then the staircase. How does that staircase look? How are the rooms laid out? How does the kitchen look? And what happens is, as you start to do it consistently, you start to own it, you start to live it, the energy, the vibration, but also what happens is it becomes easier and clearer. All of a sudden, when he was first doing it, he was pulling up in his driveway and he was getting to the front door. Then, as he started to do that consistently, now all of a sudden, the entrance, once he opened that front door, started to become really clear. And then the staircase, how it was laid out. And then the rooms and the kitchen and the family room and everything. After a little while, he just created that whole house in his mind. Within 8 months, he was in that house. So it can be done if you're willing to get back to that childhood and that child in you and tap into that secret weapon, your imagination. Now, if you have any questions, please feel free to stop by our blog, DaveDaleyEnterprises.com. We'd love to hear from you. Introduce yourself. And if you can share anything with the community, we would love to have you do that. That's why we put that community together. So stay focused, tap into that imagination, and it's going to take you places you never thought you could go if you stay with it and create that healthy lifestyle. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you on the other side.